Hello, No-Ho First, and welcome to another episode of Come with the Light and Reveal, where every week we're going to talk about one of the beautiful stained glass windows that adorns our sanctuary in North Hollywood. I've got another disciple for you today, someone that you've probably heard of. He's only the most well-known of all the disciples. I'm talking, of course, about St. Peter. Peter was a fisherman originally in the Sea of Galilee. He was one of the first disciples that Jesus called, saying, "Come with me and I will make you fishers of men." Peter was passionate about following Jesus. He was always quick to answer. He was very excited, believed wholeheartedly. However, Peter had a tendency to be, shall we say, thoughtless, impulsive. He acted rashly. There was a moment in the Bible where Jesus sent his disciples ahead of him in a boat while he stayed behind to pray. And then Jesus decides to rejoin them by walking across water. And the disciples are filled with fear at the sight of Jesus walking towards them across the waves, except for Peter. Peter decides to act and climb out of the boat, and he starts to walk across water to his teacher. If this sounds familiar, Pastor Christian did a wonderful sermon about it a couple weeks ago. Peter is walking towards Jesus, his eyes on Christ, when suddenly he starts to take in the waves and the wind, and he panics, and then he starts to sink! So Jesus reaches into the water, pulls Peter out, and he says, "Oh, ye of little faith, why do you doubt?" There was another time, the night that Jesus was being arrested, that Peter once again acted a little rashly. He actually pulled a sword out of love and a willingness to defend Jesus, and he actually cut off the ear of one of the guards there to arrest him. Jesus immediately healed the man, stating that that was not okay. And then Jesus actually predicted that Peter would deny him 3 times before the rooster crowed. 3 times you will say that you don't even know me, even though Peter had stated how he was willing to die with Jesus. But sure enough, under pressure and fear, Peter denied knowing him 3 times. I don't mean to be too harsh on Peter. His quick responses often showed that he had a deep understanding of Jesus' teachings. There's one time in the book of Matthew where Jesus asks his disciples, "Who do you say I am?" And the disciples are giving pretty tentative, incomplete answers, but Peter responds immediately. And he says, "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God." And that's when Jesus looks to Peter and he says, "I tell you, you are Peter," which means the rock in Latin. "And upon this rock I will build my church. I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven." And sure enough, in our window, Peter is holding a key that symbolizes his authority over heaven. On the other side of the window, you see a church that is built on the firm foundation of a rock. The parable of the wise builders describes a house that stands in spite of rain, floods, and wind, because it has a firm foundation. So even if our spiritual house finds itself being tormented by rain and wind, and we are overwhelmed, or maybe we make impulsive mistakes or act rashly like Peter, we have a foundation that is secure. A foundation that will hold us no matter what happens, because we believe that Jesus is the Son of the living God. Now, this window, this symbol of St. Peter, was lovingly dedicated to our church in October 1968 by Edna and Al S. Keller. We hope that you appreciate its beauty, and we will see you next week for another episode of Come with the Light and Reveal. God bless.